Welcome everybody to the Evil Ewok Podcast, aka the Cat and Zach Show, episode like
I was gonna
11
say
or 12. We
we
never keep
broke
track.
double digits. That's all I know. So new record for us.
Yes, we have lasted longer than Firefly did.
Just call us the
We're being canceled.
last of us.
Which I still have not watched, amazingly.
Zach.
I know.
All right, you know what? That's right.
I'm
There's only 4 episodes left. Like, just coast through at this point. I can't even beg you to watch it because at this point I'm just rooting for you to be able to binge the whole freaking thing. So just send it.
So
Just wait and send it.
We've got a month until I can watch The Last of Us, everybody. What's up, Andrew? Charlie, Sean, Grand Moff Tom, Mr. Fett. And I think that's it for right now. Thank you guys
Serena.
for showing up. Serena as well. My apologies.
Sal, let's go.
And Sal.
Here.
Everybody is here except for Alice, but who knows if she'll make an appearance or not. The queen. It's always the question. What's up, Quick Poker?
What's good?
We have quite a bit to talk about today, everybody, including some massive news that's kind of flown under the radar on the Star Wars front, because I've seen a lot of people talking about Marvel being cut back on because there's just a ton of it. There's like 80 shows a year and like 10 movies. But what has gone under the radar a bit is that they're also doing it with Star Wars. He mentioned, I have the article up and I will read it to everybody right now. I think it's this one.
I know Tom is harassing me from the other room. I can't flip my camera right now. I'll explain later. But I heard Tom calling. He was like, "Mirror your camera." This is me telling you I can't. Sorry. Continue.
She doesn't have that power anymore. Okay, so they're basically bringing a new directive now that Bob Iger retook over his position, and there's going to be a level of rigor on Marvel and across the entire company. Numbers matter now, and costs are going to be outlined and enforced. But he didn't say that. It was an insider. What he said is that Disney needs to be better at curating franchise content that's extraordinarily expensive. Added Iger, we want the quality on the screen, but we do have to look at what they cost us. So it's basically him alluding to Star Wars and Marvel, because those are really the only types of shows that Disney Plus has, aside from like Willow. So that being said, Kat, how do you feel about a potential slowdown in Star Wars content? Going forward.
Scheisse. First off, you are right. I literally learned about this news 5 seconds before we went live when you gave me a briefing on tonight's topics. So this is my fresh. I don't even fully process this.
You are good at reacting to things.
Thank goodness my channel prepared me for this. Not clickbait, but it's like what spawned this? It's no offense to Disney, but I have a hard time believing that they're running out of money. Like, what?
Yeah.
I understand that. I feel like there's 2 different motivations. Oh, we're cutting back and reducing and really tailoring our content for monetary purposes versus the intention behind we're cutting back and reducing and reframing, taking a step back, really coming at this with a new, intentional, very curated, that was a fancy word they used, approach, because for the sake of the content itself, because we want better quality. Like, I can see this being applicable for Marvel more so, because I feel like ever since Endgame came out, I mean, back me up if you disagree or not, feel free to let's talk about it, but I feel like it's just been like bang, 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 like I can't keep up to the point that even I would consider myself a Marvel fan, but am I anymore? Because I haven't even been able to watch all of the new content. It's like overly saturated. Star Wars, on the other hand, though, you're coming from a fan base that is begging on our hands and knees for like just a theatrical release, and we've been eating up like the Disney Plus shows. Like, unless there are numbers to suggest that they're not performing, I literally don't know. I'd like to hear your attack on this, because I don't know.
I agree with you. It feels kind of like I'm gonna use an analogy here. In elementary school, I got like in trouble for starting a rock fight, and I didn't start the rock fight. Like I happened to be in. I was in the rock fight. Like I threw a couple rocks, but I wasn't like the culprit. But I got in trouble for it, and it feels like that's Star Wars. Like they're getting in trouble for something that Marvel has caused. Like
Guilt by
it's
association.
exactly. It's not like you're what you said about Marvel is spot on. There's so much of it, and they have shows that are so superfluous. Like they're making a show about like Echo, a character who is like a secondary antagonist in Hawkeye. It's like, I mean, that's cool, but like, why do you need to have like all these shows? And then there's like the Agatha Harkness show. It's like, oh, people loved her. It was super memey. Like, oh, we gotta give her a show. It's like they need to like, I understand curating Marvel. Like you need to really think about like each show. Is it 100% necessary, or like do we need to make this? Is it crucial to the story we're trying to tell and the universe we're trying to build? Probably not. But with Star Wars, even the shows that we're only getting like what next year, like,
2 a
or I
year
guess this year, like
average?
2 or 3 like live action, and no movies. So we're getting significantly less Star Wars content than we are getting Marvel content. And to cut back on that even more, it's like, really? Okay, fuck. I mean,
But it's like, what else? Frick. Oh, sweet lord. I have to reconsider everything because I've been out here preaching on my channel frickin' since the spawn of Disney Plus when it really started ramping up and we were like, oh my god, look at all these kind of like shows. Like, I know we always joke like, oh, we're in a drought right now, but if you look at it in hindsight, like we've been really freaking lucky. If we look at where we started with Mandalorian, the debut Star Wars production for Disney Plus, and now everything that we've had on the docket since then, like in that grand scheme of time, like I mean, maybe it's also because the time has just flown by those past few years between when the
yeah.
Mandalorian came out and now some things happened in the universe that made things just really like escalate and speed by. But
No, what are you talking about?
uh,
I didn't notice.
did you blip? Were you in the blip for the last 5 years?
You know, I did the when Infinity War came out, they had like this website where you could like you basically hit a button and it would tell you if you got blipped or not. I survived the blip, so I did not get blipped.
Wait, what's this website? Do you think
It's
it's still
called like
active?
it's called like Did Thanos Snap Me or something like that.
Wait, I'm gonna do a live if it's.
All right, everybody, this is what you came here to
Wait,
see.
this is still. Holy smokes! You were slain by Thanos for the universe. Oh my gosh! Gosh
Well, it's
darn
just
it!
the Zach show now.
Our numbers are really dropping out here.
I
Dang.
know, for real.
But like, yeah, I know I joke like, oh, I always just want more Star Wars content, but I feel like we have had a perfect amount. But I feel like it's a stretch. I feel like you have to be an anti Star Wars fan to feel like it's been too much. Pump the brakes.
Yeah. It's like Marvel 100%. It's too much. Even Marvel fans are like, this is too much. Like, I mean, goddamn, like they just it's like they had that little break during like when COVID was at its peak, and then after that they're like, oh, here's like everything that you want to show about the dog that was in the background of scene 4 in this movie. Here you go. Here's a whole series about it. It's like they're just giving it, like I could probably get a Marvel series if I wanted, but Star Wars, they've been more measured and deliberate, I feel. I would say like of all the shows that have been announced or have already come out, I'd say like Skeleton Crew is the only one where I'm like, do we really need that?
Mm. Still
But
know nothing about it, so I'm like,
yeah, that it's probably would help if I knew more about it. But like from what I can tell, it's just about kids lost in space, and that doesn't seem super crucial to like telling the story of Star Wars. And so that's the only reason I say that. Whereas like Andor, you're like you're showing the development of a popular character from Rogue One, and you're also showing the rebellion grow. Kenobi was, I mean, it's Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi, but even Boba Fett, very important character. And then Mandalorian is like the most successful Disney Plus show. So
on. You're effing right. Hold the front door. We're like teacher's favorite right now. More like the class favorite because if you think about all the top Disney Plus episode premieres and like total
Yeah,
best
it's Star
animated.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the top performers up in here. What the F? Okay, here's my question to you. I feel like what is going on in the world of streaming right now? Because I feel like every streaming platform is either fusing with another or like taking over another or cutting out some of their shows or like freaking Netflix getting rid of password sharing. But Netflix, for example, allegedly accidentally pressed the button that
Yeah,
undid their
okay,
roles
sure.
and the internet absolute barrage of backlash that they got mollywopped with, like, they then came out and were like, "Oh, no, 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 that was a mistake. Never mind, never mind." So, I don't know if they're actually retracting those or if are just, like, doing a little bit of damage control to be like, "That was released too soon, like, you still have time." I don't know what
Yeah,
that was, but
so this
could
is the tactic that they're gonna do, because 'cause I've seen this done before so many times. They'll accidentally leak the preliminary plans, and then they'll get a ton of backlash, and people will bully them into retracting it, and then they'll say, "No, no, 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 sorry, that was just preliminary, that wasn't the actual plan," and then, like, a month later, they'll release the actual plan, which is not as bad, but still bad, and then people will be like, "Well, I guess it's not as bad as the thing that they almost did, so whatever," and that's how they strategically get you to pay more money for something.
Oh. Now, do you think the
So
same could be possible here? I have not even been on Star Wars Twitter today. I need to like check in after this. I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I wish I knew. I'm our go-to Twitter guru over here. Zach's our encyclopedia. I'm the person on social media to report how people are receiving this, but I'm curious to see. I'm sure people aren't receiving this well. Granted, I'm sure there is a portion of the fandom, and I can see from this perspective as well, like if we're getting less content, but the quality is escalated, you know what? Maybe I can make peace with that. That's a good, like, negotiation there. Like, I'll handle a fraction of the shows if all of them are and or quality. I guess you know what I'm saying. But that's not to say like I've loved and enjoyed every show that we've gotten. Yes, I have complaints, or criticisms about each of them, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't trade any of them and be like, "No, I wish we hadn't gotten that show." Like,
yeah, it's
I'm
Star Wars.
right? Versus I can't say the same about Marvel. No offense to Marvel, but I haven't even been able to keep up with half the shows. So it's just like I don't like, I'm torn between accepting like, yes, if this means the shows will all be stellar and they're setting a new bar, then sure, but I'm sad because I've been consecutively enjoying all of the content. Dang, you don't really know what you have until you lose it. This stinks.
I just feel like it's unfair to us as Star Wars fans. Like, we haven't exactly been treated well, I feel like. Like Marvel, we've watched Marvel get like 8 movies a year and like 5 shows for the last few years, and it's just like I want one movie, man. Like, I wanna go to the theaters and see one movie. Like, I would take that. Um, and then for them to just tell us, you're like, "Yeah, okay, so you guys are gonna get even less now. So have fun with that." It just and to use the excuse that it like, "Oh, these shows are expensive," so it's like, "Yeah, but you're Disney, so like
That's
you
why I'm like, huh? I just
they're literally daddy warbucks. Like, they have so much money, and um it's just, I guess that's just big companies, right? Like, they laid off a bunch of people, and then they announced Toy Story 5 and stuff, and it's just like, "Oh, don't pay attention to the fact that we just laid off,
shnikes.
like, 10,000 people. Here's Toy Story 5," which, speaking of that, I don't even know. I thought Toy Story 3 was, like, a good ending, and then they did Toy Story 4, and I'm like, "Okay, that's a good ending, I guess," and then
3
they're like,
is
"Oh,
the one where they're all like 3 is the shockingly traumatic one where they're all literally in the garbage chute about to be incinerated, correct?
yes, yes."
There was a 4th one after that?
Yeah, there's a 4th one after that, and, that the way that one ended, it was like, "Okay, that's it, that's for sure it," and then, nope, they're dusting off Buzz and Woody again to
I mean, I guess you can because toys never die, but I I will say this, I'm tired of remakes, I'm tired of sequel after sequel after sequel or, oh, a live action version of this cartoon is being made. I want new stories. Take the money and create something new. That's just me. Like I know, like that's my personal preference as someone like I never even watched, the live action Lion King. Sorry, John Favreau, I just never got around to it. Like I'd be fine. That's what's rubbing me the wrong way. I'm like, they didn't frame it like that. Like we want to, unless they did, and I just blanked out when you were reading that description because I just was only fixating on no Star Wars. But unless I blacked out, it doesn't sound like that's the that is the stance here of being like we're gonna make less, but it's gonna be better. It just sounds like we're making less for
Yeah.
budgetary purposes.
You're right. It like reading the quote. The quote is literally I'll read it again real quick. He said, "We need to get better at curating franchise content that's extraordinarily expensive. We want the quality on the screen, but we have to look at what they cost us." I figured they'd be doing it if anything because I am starting to feel, just judging off of like reading Reddit posts about like Quantum Mania, it does feel like every Marvel post I see, people are just going like, "Oh, there's too much Marvel. Like I'm getting tired of Marvel." Like every Marvel release in the last year, I felt like people have said things like that. Like the whispers are growing, and I think people are getting tired of Marvel. And I figured they'd be trying to get out ahead of that and adjust their strategy for that reason. But you're right. The quote reads like they just don't want to be spending as much money as they are currently, um, rather than actually looking into fixing the content or making it better.
Or is he saying we want to make maybe I'm just misunderstanding. I wish they would use more layman's terms. Like, talk to me like I'm stupid because I am. Is he saying because he says we want to? He did mention quality. He did name drop
Yeah.
quality, curating better content, quality that costs a lot of money. So is he saying we're going to release less, but everything that we do release, we are going to pump everything we have
I
into
don't
it?
I don't
Like,
know that he's saying that. I take it as he's saying we're going to cut the fat. Like we're not going to make shows about a secondary villain from this
ah,
other series, but it doesn't seem like he's placing an emphasis on like we're going to make sure that the quality is even better than it is now. It feels very much like he's like we're just going to
mm,
not have as much come out. That's what I'm reading it as. Which I don't, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like I agree you should definitely not have as much Marvel content coming out, but the stuff that you do make, you should be putting more effort into, particularly with Star Wars.
yeah. This is, you know what? You're now that this is all happening, and I'm trying to look at the future of Star Wars. It's like we know what's on the slate for this year, but after that, what's in store for 2024? Acolyte, like that's the
Yeah.
only thing that we know of currently. Versus like previous years, we've been able to look ahead and be like, oh, we're getting Bad Batch, we're getting Mando, we're gonna get Kenobi, like versus oh my god, I don't even know now that we're saying all this. It's like the pipeline of Star Wars is dwindling of what was everything that was announced at whenever it freaking was D23 forever ago when they came out with that giant beautiful map of the timeline of the next few years of Star Wars shows, and now we're actually kind of like at the tail end of it. I mean, yes, we still have Ahsoka, an acolyte, and a skeleton crew, and who knows? I'm sure there's going to be more Bad Batch. So maybe I'm panicking. All right, I'm panicking for no reason, but this is just tough. Like,
It is, and I'm just a little concerned that I'd never want Star Wars to go to the place that it was in, like post Revenge of the Sith, where we
sweet
basically
Jesus.
only had the Clone Wars for years, and that
Oh
was
my
it.
god.
I don't think they would ever do that,
I
but
I
I
hope
don't
not.
know
Could you
because
imagine? All I'm gonna
no.
say is this. That happened to the Lord of the Rings fandom, right? I mean, they got The Hobbit sprinkled in, but that was after like quite a hot minute. And look at how volatile those people are. I'm sorry. I love Lord of the Rings and I'm part of this fandom, but they were dormant for so long and all of a sudden they got new content. It was just like unleashed upon
in
each other.
defense of them, in defense of them, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is perfection. Like
The greatest thing ever, yes.
you can't really beat it. So like any content that comes out for Lord of the Rings fans, it's not gonna be as good as what they grew up with or what they watched in theaters.
I'll give you
Um,
that. Good point, good point.
it's so good. They might be my favorite movies ever. Like every time I think about what my favorite movie is, like Lord of the Rings always comes up. I'm like, it's just so perfect. Like every aspect of the Lord of the Rings trilogy is perfect. Like, oh,
Mhm. It's timeless, like, I'll be watching those when I'm 80 and still, like, crying and being like, "The CGI is so good." Meanwhile, we're gonna be living in, like, VR or whatever is gonna be happening at that point, and I'll still be like, these held up." You're right, you're right.
they've held
Alright.
up better than the Hobbit trilogy. Like they look better than the Hobbit trilogy, and they're like 10 years older. But
Practical effects.
100%. Um, but yeah, so I guess that's all we have to say about Star Wars getting cut back on. I I can't think of anything else I want to cover. I mean, again, besides just hopefully them announcing movies, which is the next topic at Celebration.
Which I don't trust anymore.
They're gonna be like, we've canceled all the movies.
Oh, sweet lord.
But here's that article. Let's see. New report revealed when Star Wars fans will finally learn about Disney's future movie plans after over 3 years away from the theaters. God, has it really been that long?
Ugh.
Alongside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Lucasfilm and its Star Wars galaxy have been at the forefront of the House of Mouse's streaming efforts on Disney Plus. However, this shifted focus has seen the studio leave behind its roots on the big screen, with the last theatrical release coming with 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. That's not to say Lucasfilm hasn't been trying to get back into theaters, but the studio has certainly been struggling, having cycled through countless creatives in recent years to develop projects only for them never to materialize. For real. Yet there has been progress on Lucasfilm's movie front, with rumors pointing towards a theatrical flick entering pre-production as soon as April or May, but which flick this will be is unclear, with separate projects in the works from Damon Lindelof, Taika Waititi, Kevin Feige, Ryan Johnson, and more. So I'm not familiar with Damon's or his projects, but I've heard about Taika's. I'm starting to doubt that Feige's is going to come to
Right?
fruition because it feels like he's going to have bigger fish to fry now that Marvel's struggling for the first time like ever. And then Ryan Johnson, I'm still skeptical about that happening. And more, holy crap, that
Holy
was a lot of emojis. Charlie.
I'm sorry. That was so funny. It also looks like they adjusted it so that more emojis can show like on our
Yes.
screen. Like we actually are getting fireworks and dragons and candles and volcanoes and roses now, which is great.
I was gonna mention that when I went on by myself on Tuesday night for the Bad Batch, that was like the greatest emoji bomb ever. Like there's so many new emojis and they were just like
Oh my
firing them away.
goodness. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Jolly.
My favorite movie is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Phenomenal movie. Then The
Yes.
Princess Bride.
Yes.
Phenomenal movie.
Serena,
Yeah,
yes.
you have great taste.
I was
Serena.
gonna say I need to highlight that. I don't have highlighting capabilities, but if I could, I would highlight that comment because those are also my favorites.
Sal's all-time favorites: Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, pretty good movie. Ford vs Ferrari, good movie. Rango, super underrated animated movie. Rango, Toy Story, classic. Rogue One, The
Heck
Goonies, Princess Bride,
yes,
School of
School of
Rock.
Rock.
All-time favorites: Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I need to watch that. It's one of the old westerns I haven't seen. Believe it or not.
Admittedly, me either. I'm so bad when it comes to old like westerns with like Clint Eastwood. Forget about it. Is he even in that movie? No, I don't think
He
he is. That's
is. He
oh, he is.
is.
Oh, thank
You
God.
got it. You got
Thank
it.
God. Okay, I'm not that culture list. Look at all
Oh my god.
those
Those are gonna be Ewoks for this purpose.
bears.
But anyway, there's a bit more on this. A new report from the Hollywood Reporter explored how Disney is rethinking its current franchise output from Marvel and Star Wars. Within the said article, the outlet noted that Lucasfilm is expected to unveil its future movie plans for the galaxy far, far away at Star Wars Celebration event, which will take place in April in London. Among the big screen projects currently in development is a post-sequel trilogy flick from Watchmen writer Damon Lindelof, as well as a mysterious project from Thor Ragnarok director Taika Waititi. The previously announced Rogue Squadron movie by Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins may never materialize, according to The Hollywood Reporter, contrary to previous comments from the filmmaker. Star Wars has a big year ahead on Disney Plus with The Mandalorian and then Ahsoka. Why did it scroll me back up? Wait. The Hollywood Reporter adds that Lucasfilm may ramp up its content output. It will have to abide by the same fiscal discipline as the rest of the company. So, okay, so that kind of conflicts with what we were just talking about.
Right? Wait, what?
If they ramp it up, but they have to cut the cost, I'm not sure I like that either, because I already don't love most of the freaking ads, man. All right, that's basically the article.
Yeah, that's like contradictory. I don't know what to believe, but honestly, that's how I feel about everything Star Wars anymore. I just don't know what to believe. I'm so fragile at this point. All I have to say about the movies is this: I feel like there was a time period where every other week, we've talked about this. It sounded like, oh, this director's getting a Star Wars film. Oh, this director is allegedly getting a Star Wars film. It's like, Maria, what's up?
What's up, Maria? Doing well.
I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm so fragile. I feel like the Star Wars fandom is like, here's this great project coming up, and we're like, yay! And then it's like, never mind. Here's the Game of Thrones showrunners getting their own trilogy. Yes, forget that. Hope you weren't looking forward to that. It's like we get more things have been revoked than actually fulfilled. And I understand. Listen, I'm a freaking. Who am I to go up against? Like, I recognize fully that I am like, I have no idea how difficult it is to be this huge IP, be a company, have all these writers and showrunners and writers' rooms. And it's totally, entirely believable that a lot of things would fall through. Like, I understand that. It totally happens freaking every day in this industry, I'm sure. But it's happened so many times for us Star Wars fans. I feel like I don't listen anymore.
Yeah.
That's why even the fact that they're saying, oh, there's a guarantee something at Celebration, I'm like, okay, the fact that they are actually, that's accountability right there. If you say something is being announced at Celebration, I feel like, holy smokes, there's a little like increased chance that it actually will come to fruition because you are announcing it in front of the entire fan base, and that's a little bit harder to take back, I feel like.
Yeah. To their credit, I don't know. I don't recall. If I don't think all the previous announcements of like, oh, so and so is working on a show. I don't know if that's literally from Lucasfilm or if it was from just like a website. But like, I feel like they were more than rumors, but not quite like official confirmation from Lucasfilm. Like, I feel like it was Variety or something, even though Variety usually is like the mouthpiece of Lucasfilm. I feel like it was a reputable publication that like wrote an article about like, oh, so and so's working on a Star Wars project, but it's not like Lucasfilm is coming out and announcing it. So to their credit, they haven't like come out and said, oh, Rian Johnson's trilogy is happening. But that being said, I wish that they would. I don't want to hear about anything until it hits pre-production, or like until they start like getting pretty deep in pre-production, and then it's like, okay, we're for sure gonna make this. Let's announce it. Like, and because we have been beat so much over the last few years where we're like, oh, cool, we're getting this trilogy. Nope, we're getting this Rogue Squadron movie. Nope.
So. You actually raise a really good point. I think we as a fandom, or we're in a position where we are the most like we flock to rumors like sharks to blood. It's literally like we jump at everything, and I'm guilty. I say this all the time, y'all. I'm guilty. I am not a trustworthy source when it comes to everything that I hear, because everything I hear comes from Twitter. And you know how reliable that place is? Absolutely the frick, it's not reliable. And I always try to say that, be like, listen, everything that I'm reporting, take it with a grain of salt because it's coming from the least reliable platform. Let's be real. So, but I'm guilty. I see rumor. I don't even verify what account it is. I see rumor. Oh, new Star Wars project in development. Like, oh, sweet, because we're just chomping at the bit. Like, you know, I'd be like, heck yes, to new Star Wars projects. I don't even care. I don't question it. I'll never question it. So I think we as a fandom, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one who sees things on Twitter and then everybody sees it and then, oh, but it's like never, you're right. It's never actually been confirmed verbally from the mouth of an actual trustworthy source at the helm at Lucasfilm. So you
From
are
the
right. At
mouth
the end
of
of
the
the day,
mouse.
it's not like they ever, which is why I'm like, okay, the fact that there's going to be accountability at Star Wars Celebration, I feel like means it's serious. So it is a little bit
Yeah.
contradictory, though, in a way. It's like, oh, we're cutting back on Star Wars, but you're finally getting a new movie announced at Celebration. Who knows?
But I don't like how the article was like, oh, like Star Wars might ramp up, but they have to play under the same financial restrictions as everybody else. Like, what does that
Right.
mean? Does that mean they're going to have even less money to work with when they make these shows? Because as we saw with Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett to some extent, these shows could look better than they do. So if they have even less to work with, I don't like the sound of that. I don't it's like George Lucas. He's made some mistakes, but one of the biggest things I admire about him was when he didn't have the budget to make a Star Wars show, because he wanted to do like an Underworld Coruscant show, and he did test footage for it, and he realized I don't have the budget to make this look good, and he didn't do it because Star Wars needs to look amazing. Like Star Wars can't look half-assed. If you half-ass Star Wars, it's gonna look like a Sci-Fi Channel movie. It's not gonna look good. So you need to have a good budget if you're going to make anything Star Wars. So I'm just scared that if they cut Star Wars budget for these shows, they're going to look even cheaper, and that would be awful.
Yeah. I don't even
Media
want
has a way of taking ideas thrown in a think tank at Lucasfilm and claiming it as fact, but not from them. Yeah,
that's for
that's what I
sure.
was saying. I feel like that's been the case for a lot of these reports. Cat source, trust me, bro.
Oh goodness. Look at all those these cookies, these cakes, the swords. I love this combination of emojis that we have.
It's very sugar. It's making me want dessert. Bob Iger is not good for Star Wars or Marvel. I'm telling you, he cut all the budgets. Yeah, I don't. People were super excited when he came back. I didn't really care, but he was one of the major players, if not the major player, in creating the sequel trilogy, or in terms of like, Maria said last time that he was the reason they didn't have a plan, which just seems idiotic to me. Like, if you're gonna make a trilogy, you should have a plan, because that's how storytelling works. You make a plan and then you execute the plan. So that's worrying if that's the case. But let's talk some Bad Batch. Enough of the. I feel nervous after talking about all the
Right.
future of Star Wars.
Y'all witnessed me like definitely panicking and having an overreaction there. Like, what are we gonna do? Could you effing imagine, like, as Star Wars, I hate to use the term content creators, but let's not run from the truth here. I mean, I guess you could categorize us as such. Could you imagine what the heck are we gonna do? If we ever
I,
go back to the dark times of when it is like between Revenge of the Sith and the sequels, like, what are we gonna do?
we're screwed, Cat. That's what we're gonna. It's already like, look, I love like that we get the Bad Batch, and I really enjoyed Andor. I really enjoyed Andor, but I feel like my channel slowed down a lot since Kenobi. Like, probably since we got like a month or two after Kenobi, I feel like my channel slowed down because people aren't clicking on Star Wars stuff as much, because there isn't that like big show that's garnering all the attention, which is why like the Mandalorian season 3 is probably going to be great for us, right? Like, in terms of
Right.
our channels. But
Yeah,
yeah,
hopefully.
if we go to even less Star Wars content, and that means more time in the proverbial wasteland between Star Wars stuff, that's
I'm
not.
gonna have to become a Trekkie, y'all. I'm gonna just go and binge all of Star Trek. Literally, I'm gonna have to segue to something else. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Lord of the Rings, I don't know.
Sure, we got Rings of Power. We know that's on the docket, at least in the next 5 years. But anyway, yes. Bad Batch. Bad
Bad
Batch.
Batch. Episode 9, The Crossing. I gave my brief thoughts on the stream, but what did you think about the episode?
I'll be completely honest. I think you and Alex and I were discussing like, oh, this arc was so good. The previous last week's, double episode release, and we were all kind of like, oh, let's hope the show, continues on a momentum, the trajectory. And I effing loved. I thought this was a standout episode in regards to actual what I've been begging for this entire time, some character development, some exploration of their group dynamic, and obviously there's some stress there and it's been fractured. Like, I want to see them exploring that a little bit more, which they did. I think this is the most character development we've gotten um this whole like season so far. Maybe not for everybody necessarily, but especially Omega and Tech, who I need to ask you, Zach, because it really hit me this episode. I was like, I feel like Tech has been given a spotlight this season. Is that just because he was such like a fan favorite on the internet last season and he kind of wasn't like the front runner of the group, and they saw that and were like, "Oh, let's give him some more like screen time"? Or do you think, I don't know, are they setting up for something? What do you think?
I don't know. I've thought about it. I've thought about it because he has gotten a lot of the attention. I would say more than Hunter this
Yes!
season.
Hunter, I think I can count his dialogue on two hands. Literally, like, that's
he's like the Echo of this season.
right. For real.
Yeah, it's I would agree with what you said. I think I've acquired this reputation. I feel like people think I hate this show. I don't hate the Bad Batch. I just think it could be better, and it's episodes like this that prove my point. Like, if you can have filler episodes and it's fine. If like they're stuck in a cave, like the plot didn't get pushed forward at all. They were literally on a Sid mission, and we'll get to that son of a bitch later. But but let's talk about the good, and there was a lot of it this episode. um I like you said, just having that conversation with Tech and Omega, it was beautiful. Like, that's all I've wanted
It's
in
awesome.
any of these episodes. Like, you can do, I don't care if they're harvesting like I don't know, like pig babies from the forest moon of Endor or something. I don't care what they're doing as long as they're having meaningful conversations and character development. And I thought that the the conversation between Tech and Omega, getting back to that, I thought it was perfect. I thought that it was so important to be able to tell kids that, listen, like, everybody feels things differently. Like, just because Tech isn't showing emotion doesn't mean he doesn't feel the loss of Echo any differently than Omega does. I thought that was powerful, and I thought that was a good thing to teach kids. And it's one of those moments that I'm talking about where it can be directed towards a kid, but yet it's still impactful for an adult like me and you. And I just thought it was really raw, and the voice acting was really well done, and the music was great as well. It was just a good episode. That yes, it was filler in that it didn't change anything about the overall plot, but it was good filler. And if we had episodes like this more often, and like the Gungi one too, I'd be much higher on the show. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
No, like, when you say the overarching plot, because I was actually extremely thrilled that it ended on a cliffhanger and it is seemingly leading to
Yeah,
another follow-up episode that I am hoping it's not going to just cut to them, oh, they get picked up by Sid and then a new mission. Like, I don't think, based on the way they left it off, and it seems like there was a lack of closure there, and it's open-ended, and it's like, oh, okay. They gotta figure it out for a hot minute till lazy Sid can come and pick them up. It's
I
like,
swear to God, Cat. But also, look who showed up while I was rambling on. What's up, Alice?
the queen, the queen.
This episode makes the Speed Race episode even worse. We learn more about Tech and how he doesn't experience emotions the same as others. So why do we sit through 20 minutes of no development? Exactly, Serena. All I want is development. Like, I would have had no issue with that racing episode if they had given him some development there, and it was such a good opportunity to do that. Instead, they chose to be like, oh, well, Tech's just going to solve this problem because he's good with technology. And it's like, we already knew that. But this episode was phenomenal. And I really enjoyed how it emphasized the cracks that have been forming on this group, and just that's one thing I think they've done sort of well this season, is subtly chip away at like the cohesion of the group a little bit. I wish they had done more of it, but I thought it was excellent in this episode. Let's see what.
Yeah, to the point that it has me actually like worried, like, is this leading to something boiling over like down the line? Like, is the band gonna break up? Like, that's how deep of a dive they took into like the, you know, the kind of the stress the group has been under, and they all their irritability is kind of coming out, and they're going at each other. Granted, it could just be because they're operating with a man down now, and they're all adjusting in their own way to, you know, saying goodbye to Echo. But I genuinely was like, I feel like they're working towards maybe a larger conflict like happening down the line, which I want to see. Like, plant some seeds and dissect them a little bit.
Absolutely. Maria says, I love Tech in this episode. My husband feels like Tech represents him. He has high functioning autism and he feels like Tech could have some of that. Absolutely. I think that's a great point. Tech is, and I think that might be partially why Tech is such a fan favorite. Like, he's different. Like, he's clearly not good at, like when Hunter's like, go talk to her, he's very, you could tell he's very uncomfortable with, like, he doesn't want to, but he knows that it's the right thing to do. And it isn't until he like literally falls down a freaking waterfall with Omega that he's able to, oh my god, another. It's always like,
we just need a compilation of all of our ohs from tonight's stream.
$20 says the movie announcement is Rey, Grogu, Chewie, Bo, and R2D2.
Listen, I'll take anything. I will freaking take anything, Eli. I don't even care.
I would watch a Rey movie. I don't freaking care. You're right. Care. Like, if it's good, well written movie, that they've, you know, devised a plan for this time, I will watch a Rey movie. I don't have anything against Rey. Kill said, free yourselves and fulfill your destiny. That's what I've been saying, Sean. And we'll get to Sid. I didn't watch the most recent episode. Sounds like Sid hasn't died yet. Not yet.
Ooh, Alice, just wait, girl. Just wait.
I was in tears of you putting Sid in the burn of hell. Yeah, Charlie and I did a tier list, and I saved Sid for the last, and then I created a new category called Burn in Hell, and I put Sid in it.
Oh my god. I knew you disliked her, but I didn't realize it was on that level. That level of severity.
She's probably, and I don't say this lightly, probably worse than Satan. If I had to approximate that. The music for this episode was incredible, very modern Western-esque Rango or Mayans MC. Like, the episode was gorgeous, and saw a lot of autistic Star Wars fans loving this episode, seeing what Tech said. Yeah, 100%. I love the music. It did sound, I don't think we've really heard anything like that in Star Wars before. And Kevin Kiner keeps doing that. He brings it like in the 4-episode arc to end the Clone Wars, he had a lot of like Blade Runner sounding music, and I was like, I like this. And then this episode, it's like a Western, like, acoustic sound. It's like, I like this. Like, it works. I'm digging it.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who have been watching The Last of Us, but you know what, it's the same music like from the video game. As soon as the episode opened, Tom was like, is this The Last of Us? Because it had that like guitar, you know, different, not inherently what you would think, oh, Star Wars vibes. It was nice.
Really did love this episode while getting frustrated with the batch for listening and still going back to Sid. Again, great episode. Yes, good filler. Yeah, good filler. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Filler is not necessarily bad. Very generous of you, Alice. Indeed. Indeed. It kind of reminds me of Data from TNG when he loses Yamar. He doesn't feel sad, but experiences the loss. I have not seen The Next Generation, but I will take your word for it. How did it make me feel seeing Sid? Okay, we can talk about Sid now. The nerve on that freaking lizard. The nerve. I didn't steal your ship or whatever she said. I didn't tell you to lose your ship. Come on. Like, I just wanted to smack her. Like, she deserves to die for that.
I
Like,
really was hoping in that moment they were gonna be like, you know what, Sid, and hang up and be like, we're done with her. They could. They could just leave. What's stopping them? Like, she clearly doesn't have the energy
yeah,
to track them down. Do they
what's she
really
gonna
think that
do?
she? Yeah, like what is she gonna do?
She's gonna be
Uh,
like, "Oh, hey, Empire, I got some crooks here that you might want to arrest," and then
exactly.
they're gonna be
Me.
like, "Well, actually, they're already dead," and she's like, "Well, no, they're alive," and the Empire's gonna be like, "No, they're already dead," and then they're gonna kill Sid. So she literally has no recourse. Um,
Zach has thought this through,
I've thought
y'all.
this through.
Zach is like, what course of action can we take to eliminate Sid?
The answer: any course of action required.
All roads lead back to no Sid.
Everyone shows loss differently. Some people laugh, cry, or do nothing. It's normal.
Mhm.
100%. My
Yeah.
husband's high functioning autistic, and he's basically acts just like Tech. Sometimes I laugh when I'm sad. I think it's normal, to react differently. Yeah, and again, I think it was a brilliant thing to be able to tell kids that in this show. And I think I really liked the way Omega acted in this episode, because sometimes I feel like she falls into the trap where it's like this kid is acting too much like an adult, but she was very much like a kid in this episode, very much like her age.
She had like teenage sass when she was like, barking back at them, like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I was like, Omega's growing up. Like, she felt like a sassy teenager. And I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I actually would like love like older Omega content, like her as like Ahsoka's age, seeing her throughout, the Clone Wars. Cause I guess she's the age now where like we started with Ahsoka, no? Around
maybe a little
similar.
younger.
Yeah, so I would love to see her get into her like, sassier, her teenage, I feel like she was tapping into oh my god.
Ah,
Chickens, music, fire, dragons, diamonds,
there's a
candles.
correlation here somewhere. But yeah, I do think it's kind of funny how they're always like, no, we can't, we have to keep Omega away from fighting the Empire because it's dangerous. Now, Omega, go climb up there and mine some highly volatile explosive
Yeah,
material.
climb into this super tiny crevice. I'm like, "Oh my god." But
What can you do? Sean also has high functioning autism. Well, I mean, I think it's great that they're doing that with Tech. Then I think Tech is definitely one of my favorites on he might be my favorite of the Bad Batch, honestly. Um, I actually think I would say he is, because Hunter initially was, but he's, like you said like 5 words this whole season. So I think Tech's definitely probably my favorite. You guys knew I would love to see the sequel characters brought forward and actually done right. I'm not a total sequel hater. That's where I am too, Maria. It's like I'm willing to give them, like, I would love to see Finn done right. Like, Finn got screwed in the sequels. I'd love to see them like rehab his character. Same thing with Rey. Uh, Nothing would make me happier. I didn't want the sequels to be bad. Like, I absolutely did not want that. I'm super happy they're doing more two-parters. Yeah, me too. That's something you
yes.
liked as well, right, Kat?
Heck yes. Y'all know I mean, because that's how Clone Wars operate. And I'm not saying this show has to be the next Clone Wars, but, it's definitely alarming how I feel like it's been rare that there's been a 3 or 2 episode arc in this show. Granted, there are shorter seasons. It's not like 30 episodes like Clone Wars used to be, where I
Yeah.
guess you have more liberty to expand the arcs. But even just the occasional 2 episode arc, I'm like, yes, please, a cliffhanger, some stakes, let's go.
Holy crap, 40 new comments. I'm like way behind. You guys are
Whoa.
killing it. Let's see. Unleash Zach. Yeah, I went off on Sid. I don't want to talk about Sid anymore. I don't want to hear any more about Sid.
I'll just be honest, Zach, as soon as I watched that, we got to that portion of last night's episode, I was like, I immediately just thought of you and was like, I wish I could have seen Zach fuming. I gotta go. I can go and
I
rewatch it.
did. I
Oh my
did
god.
react to it. I did, like, I was pretty aggressive. I was like, I was pissed. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I acted like she had said that, like she was leaving me stranded on a planet. I was so mad, Kat. Because, like, I didn't think she'd be that, like, that was such a Sid move. I didn't think she'd lean into it that hard.
Now,
Like,
here's my question. Is that what, like, is that the big bad that I was afraid of, that her former gambling partner, or whatever you would want to call him, that almost swindled them at the races when he warned them, like, she'll betray you? Is this the betrayal, like her not wanting to pick them up, or do you think it's like easing into something larger? Like, oh, if you think her leaving them stranded on this planet is bad, just wait until you see what's next.
wait until she commits genocide on next week's episode of The
Oh
Bad
my
Batch.
god! Oh my
I think it's got to
god.
be something worse. This is too much. Like, it was too brushed off. Like, she was just like, okay, fine, I'll be there in a couple days. But I think she's gonna do something else. Again, what that might be, I don't know, because what could she possibly do? Like, turn them in? Like, it's I don't know.
Honestly, I'm after the way she treated them this episode, and how not enthused she is, about them, or even like, oh my god, yeah, let me come help you. She really clearly doesn't even value them if she's like, that's your problem, not mine. Or, all right, give me a couple days to come pick you up. Don't die between now and then. It's just like, I'm more inclined to believe that she would maybe try to, like, I don't know, pawn them off or something like that.
She takes them to the pawn shop. I got these 5 lightly used clones here. I want to pawn them.
Oh god.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, she's just got 0 redeeming qualities, and I really tried to turn over a new leaf, and this isn't true. I don't know why I'm saying I didn't try to turn over. I'm
I was gonna say, I
willing.
feel like I didn't see that effort, Zach.
That character development happened in the comics. It wasn't shown in the movies. No, I the minute I see some redeeming qualities by Sid, I will be the bigger man, and I will admit that, okay, that was good character development from her. But so far, that has not transpired. What's up, Jarn? Good morning.
What's up?
Star Trek Deep Space Nine did a fantastic job on showing war. They had stories that spanned seasons. Star Wars needs more of that. Wars among the stars. I agree. That is a lot of animals and frogs and
All the
skulls and
frogs and skull and crossbones.
and wine. I didn't see the episode yet. It was pretty good, Jarn.
It's actually
Pretty
really
good.
great. Yeah.
Go watch Cat Comedy Gold when I was on here popping with Zach. I was laughing so much. The tear list burning. Hell yeah.
Oh my god. This is what
Yeah.
happens when we leave Zach to his own devices. Alex and I weren't there to reel you in, and
Yeah, when you got so far, when you guys haven't been there, I've started a religion and condemned Sid to hell. So
oh my god. Oh god. What have
Zach,
I done?
what have I done? Zach and Kat, where would you like the show to go the next couple of weeks if you were the writers?
Back to Crosshair. We haven't gone to Crosshair. Like,
I agree.
saw him once. Saw the man's once. That's all I ask. And I mean, there's a lot of different. That's the thing about the show. There are so many different avenues, I feel like, that they can be exploring. It's like, I wouldn't even want to just narrow it down to one, but I think Crosshair is just the biggest thing that I want to see again.
Yeah, you're right. I can't believe we're 9 episodes in and we've seen him in 1 episode, and it was like the 3rd episode. We haven't seen him for 6 episodes basically. Aside from that, I mean, do I really have to say it, like, where I would go if I were writing the show? I'm not gonna say it. Besides from the obvious, I would like the Bad Batch to get involved with. I would like them to go to Echo and be like, you know what, we want to do what you're doing. Like, we want to join the fight. That's what I would want them to do.
Amen.
And I feel like that would organically get them involved with Crosshair too. I feel like he'd show up and then they to oppose them, or whatever, and I feel like then you have some momentum going. But that's what we would do. Good question, Andrew. Or have someone steal their ship. If she did, I don't even know what her angle was. If she's trying to get them, maybe she just wants them marooned on there to die. I don't know.
That would be quite the tactic. It's quite the elaborate
Going
plan.
to turn Zach into Kylo Ren at this point. More!
I want everything we have.
Pointed
Fire.
at that lizard. To fire on that lizard.
Oh my god.
Unwise for Sid to turn Batch into the Empire, then Ord Mantell would be swamped with Imperials and Stormtroopers. Yeah, but here's the thing, Sal. Sid's not very smart. I feel like she already got into like gambling debt or whatever. I guess that doesn't correlate to intelligence. Some people do have addictions, and Sid could be addicted to gambling. But I would say we've yet to see her display any form of like intelligence. She hasn't really been dumb either. I don't know, like. So I can't think of any recourse that she would have that would actually threaten them.
I think she is greedy enough, though, that she would go to do that and not even think about the repercussions that it would have for the larger planet. She'd be like, I turned them in. And then they'd be like, we're bringing over a new governor. You're actually under Imperial jurisdiction now. And then she'd be like, like
crap, how am I going to earn credits now? Those guys weren't so bad. I miss goggles and muscles.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, sweet lord.
Crosshair is episode 11, Metamorphosis. I hope so, Dale. I just want to see that Mike Pence looking MFer again. Crosshair needs a lunch buddy now. I wish that if this were like a comedy show, I wish they would like cut back to him like once an episode to him sitting in the cafeteria by himself.
No, I can't handle that. That's sad.
I mean, he's not a good person. Like, you don't have to feel bad about it.
He still has feelings.
I'm sure he does. Yeah, we do need to catch up with Crosshairs and Cody. Absolutely, we do. Hashtag bring back Crosshair. A new Vader. That's a thought. Like, really quickly, if they were to do like a continuation of Rey's story, like the villain, whoever would be the villain, would be super interesting. I have no idea where they would go with that.
Oh yeah. Finn's the villain because he's just robbed of a good arc. And the sequels, I'm kidding. The sequels was his origin story, and then he's like, you know what? Right? Could you imagine the juxtaposition? Oh my god!
People would like Alex would do so many edits.
Yeah, I can see it now. Oh my god, that would actually be so sad. But that's when Star Wars is best. When Star Wars is sad, that's when I love it.
When it hurts you, that's when it's the best.
Are we okay?
No, something's wrong with us if we like to be wounded, but it's okay. Bad Batch go to Tatooine, but goes to work for Watto. At least Watto is more straightforward. Watto doesn't try to be your friend. Watto's just like, he just tells you what to do and then sells you to a strange Jedi man. And then you go to Coruscant and they call you the Chosen One, and then eventually you kill everybody and turn into Darth Vader. Jar Jar's way smarter. Maybe.
Honestly, I'd wage that bet. I agree. I agree with Maria.
Sid is as smart as a B0.5 battle droid, not even good enough to get to B1.
Oh god, this is turning into a Sid roast.
Yeah, we should have like a roast of Sid. That'd be great. But folks, it's time for, let me clear the emojis and change us to circles. It's time for the patented emoji bomb.
Woo! Give us everything you got.
We want every emoji fired on us too.
Our heads.
Do it, chat. Rain down hellfire.
That awkward moment of
Yeah, we gotta give them time. Gotta give them time.
Delay waiting for them. I'm like, oh God, please. Whoa!
I can't see anything. My screen is
Alice,
like frozen.
Alice delivered the lightning bolts. Oh, there we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Fire! Fire at will! Sal, I love it.
This is Opus. It's new. We've been testing it out for like the last month, and it has a lot of cool
Ooh,
features. So
including
check it out.
wow,
Including
no! Oh,
yes, more, more.
I love these combinations also. Wait, chickens and roses, like
Bats, bury us.
yes.
I don't want to be able to breathe under the weight of these emojis.
Oh my goodness.
Look at all these colors. So vibrant. This is incredible. Yes.
The
Clowns.
clowns! The clowns! Oh my
You
gosh.
may fire when ready. I should totally next time I should get that clip, import it in here, and then I say I'll play it. You may fire when ready, and then they unleash
Wait,
we're
yes!
doing that next time.
You're onto something. Oh my goodness. I love how Tom put all the meat emojis in. Of course he would.
Not a vegan, eh?
Whoa, Charlie, yes.
All
Yeah,
right,
look at the
everybody.
cucumbers. Oh my
Thank you
god.
for joining us for another episode of the Cat and Zach Show, aka the Evil Ewok Podcast. But we will see you on the next one. Thank you for the emojis. Thank you for joining us, and peace.